Hi, Jan. Welcome to Just Curious. It's great to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Today, we'll be talking about how Jan and Fifth Row are transforming consulting services into scalable software solutions using autonomous agents and also exploring some of the biggest trends in AI, particularly around automation and venture development and market research. But first, let me introduce Jan properly. He's the founder and CEO of Fifth Row, with over 21 years of experience in digital transformation. He's helped launch over 120 global ventures and recently launched Fifth Row, a platform that seeks to automate and radically improve the efficiency of consulting services. Jan, can you share a quick introduction to the work you and Fifth Row are doing, and where did it emerge from?
Sure. So Fifth Row automates consulting. We have a set of vertical applications that take care of anything in strategy, innovation, research, product, UX, those types of things. Specifically, in situations where you would likely hire a consultant, we have a software that does that. Where it came from is from the work that my venture building company did for the past 15 years. Our typical job would be to come in and work with a Fortune 500 innovation team and try to understand what their strategy is, what areas they want to focus on, what desktop research exists for that, do a lot of design thinking and ideation, and ultimately go build prototypes, talk to people, build a business case, and ultimately go build it. It would be a costly endeavor. It would cost from anywhere from a couple $100,000 to single-digit millions, and roughly, either 5 months to get to this is what we should be building, or about 11 months on average to get to first revenue with the idea that we started with, which is high level, right?
And so you saw an opportunity, I guess, to disrupt yourself.
Yeah, it was better than us. It became better than us, right?
Yeah.
So we saw that if we wanted to scale as an organization, we either have to hire a lot more people, acquire other companies, or try to look for some automation. As we're thinking through this in 2022, GPT comes out, we see a lot of applications, early on 2023, and start building the first version of Fifth Row that we launched in May 23, which was really, let's go on the internet, find everything that's out there about a particular topic based on the brief that we have. Let's synthesize into market research. Let's get it into ideas. Let's simulate how people might behave. And ultimately, let's go and build a landing page and drive traffic to it. So when we've done all of that, and all of this is AI driven and AI generated, if you put that landing page out and drive traffic to it, it will, in 87% of cases, with our tech, it's going to outperform what's already there on the market, which as humans, we had probably like 30% success rate on the first try, even after we spent, 3 months preparing for it, talking to people and things like that. So this is clearly a disruption. This is clearly a disruption of what we've been doing. And we found that we could drive that. We have the know-how on how to do it. So we disrupted ourselves, and now we're continuing with the rest of the industry.
Awesome. I'd love to share a story, an example of how someone has used Fifth Row to do what you just described, but much more efficiently than they could have done a year or two ago. And so maybe we could start at the beginning, like who's a customer that came to you and what problem were they seeking? And then let's walk through how you ultimately help them, concept a new business, et cetera, using Fifth Row faster, cheaper, et cetera, than was previously possible.
Yeah, sounds good. So most of our customers are Fortune 500s, and the person inside that company is typically head of innovation or head of strategy. They're looking at these things. So we have a Fortune 500 auto company that in 2024 had the target of launching 2 new ventures. We were able in the first quarter to get to about 3 validated ventures that are likely to succeed based on the same sort of metrics. And ultimately, I think for 2024, we found 8 for them after processing tens of thousands of sources and running tens of projects. And ultimately, they did start building the 2. So they got to the result that they wanted, but with much more conviction and a lot more support of research that would previously not be possible. So the actual process starts with them putting a brief into a platform. The platform downloads information about the particular space, typically roughly 500 sources, including large PDFs. So typically it's about 10,000 pages of content. With that, we have a set of agents that extract information and auto-generate relevant questions. So just the market research section is about 1,000 prompts on top of the 500 sources, auto-generated by our agents in areas like trends and drivers, segmentation, competitors, startups that are there, sort of a macro environment and things like that. And that helps us get a really good, dense, let's say 100 pages of content. And that takes about an hour, about half an hour to do all the search and about half an hour to process. And then it does initial ideation. So it looks into white spaces, repeating patterns, things that are missing on the market, and it's formulating concept. It could be ventures, new products, but in this case, it's new ventures for this auto company. And those are not final thoughts. Those are, hey, these are kind of categories of things that we're seeing that people are talking about and that are missing on the market, and there's an opportunity there, right? So let's go in depth. What they can do then as a user, they can kind of say, well, let's go deeper, let's enrich some of these ideas. So the platform will do is going to create a venture blueprint, a business model canvas, some initial features. It's going to put together synthetic personas. So those are not real people. Those are sort of amalgams of the data points that we found online. We're specifically looking for customer preferences. And it's basically a simulation of how people might behave when asked about this particular venture with the information that's publicly available. So LMs are really good at role play. So you give them the profile of the persona that it generated. You give them basically an interview script, and you have another agent asking those questions, and you run it 10 times over. And suddenly, because the personas have access to all the sources that we found, you have a lot more information. So it's an extraction strategy. It's finding more insights in the database that we've already gathered and looked at it slightly differently in the market research portion.
To
That
just to
then
play
allow,
that,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, go
just to
ahead.
play that back to you, so it's clear. You start with a brief. It's an area of interest or a problem you're seeking to solve, and you put that into fifth row. What you get back are a bunch of kind of ideas, like high level ideas, and you can choose from those to go deeper. You go deeper by both getting a business model canvas, and maybe you can. What is a business model canvas for someone who's not like familiar with that term?
Yeah, who's the customer? How you get revenue in? What's the business model? What is the cost structure? Things like that.
Right. So you get a business model canvas, like kind of basics on this idea. And then you have a persona that is kind of a target customer client for this idea that you can then ask questions of in a customer development like framework.
Yes, but it's all automated, right? So
It's all
the
automated.
ideas, so if I go one step back, the ideas can be high level, but typically they're specific to what you ask for. So there are more categories of things, but they're specific, right? So it'd be climate risk insurance for Caribbean islands, right? Specifically focused on fishermen, for example,
Mhm.
right? So like that would be a type of thing. And then if you like that category of things, then you can go in depth. So it's going to do the business model canvas personas. It's going to look at competitors, their strengths and weaknesses. So it goes online and looks at review sites as well. It looks at products that these competitors are offering, their strengths and weaknesses too. Then it finds the white spaces. Then it creates sort of an initial market sizing exercise, and it creates the initial marketing, so copy and things like that. And then it can build a landing page, right? So it's part of the platform that it auto generates a landing page based on all the information that it just synthesized, and drives a performance marketing campaign at that landing page. That landing page typically has a conversion funnel, so typically 2 pages, just I'm interested, right? And then a second one, like leave an email or something similar. And that is all automated, right? And this whole process until launching of the landing page takes about 2 hours. And then the campaign runs. And within a week, typically you get a very quick thumbs up, thumbs down. Like, is it going like are some people signing up and it's subpar, or is it better than expected? And then it's typically good to let it run for a couple of weeks to get statistically significant information. And if you follow that process, if you let the platform do that process, it's going to be almost 90% successful, right? You're going to find a business that's more viable than what's already out there, and you will have saved about $500,000 in that process as a Fortune 500.
Right. And so the landing page for again for people who may not be familiar with how a process like this works is meant to validate a hypothesis. Like it's
Yes.
basically promoting a product or service, the idea, and you're looking to test whether someone is interested by asking them to sign up.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So it's this particular methodology is called smoke testing. So it basically, the landing page, the microsite looks like it's a real product. right? With all the bells and whistles and everything. And we were measuring the sign up. You're measuring, are people clicking on my ads? Are they staying on my website? Are they clicking to go to the second stage of, okay, I'm interested, and I leave, and are they're signing up, right? When they sign up, you tell them, thank you, we're launching this soon, or it's not available in your region yet, right? We're going to let you know once it is. So that is an easy way to test at scale. And of course, it's under a completely different brand. Like a new startup is not connected to our customer's brand, so there's no risk in that, and it's run under our name and privacy policy and things like that. So it's no risk for our customers, massive savings, right? And it can be done within a couple of days, typically, of onboarding a customer.
Amazing. And you said it was 2 hours to go
Yes.
from kind of brief submission to the initial creation of the landing pages.
Yes. And the 2 hours are finding all the relevant information. So platform does that to put it into one place, into a database. And then there's about 62 autonomous agents that we've programmed that then in sequence and in parallel basically work with that information to follow what used to be a consulting process, like I described: market research, ideation, more details, landing page, drive trap.
And I'm sure every situation is different, but roughly from one brief, how many ideas ultimately are tested against each other using this smoke testing process?
From one brief?
Yeah.
Typically, I would say two or three. And typically, it's multiple versions of one, right? Typically, that's kind of how it goes. So we have another example. We have a CPG company that was looking to test various types of vegan jerky for some reason. And we had four different versions of that. And all of them performed, all of them outperformed the market, but in different ways and for different groups. So core output of the smoke test is, because it's running through Google Ads or Meta Ads, you have a really good demographic profile, where people are clicking from, who they roughly are, male, female, age, things like that. And that can help you understand who the initial customer is without having to spend a lot of time talking to them. Of course, you should then talk to them. You should talk to real people afterwards. But that process takes time and is costly, right? So what we've done is we've kind of flipped it on its head and said, well, if we can process large amounts of data and get in a ballpark of what people like, and if they then sign up, right, we've saved so much money, so that we have, like in this auto example that I gave, they had 8 potential businesses that they knew people were interested in because they already signed up to choose from, to then go to 2, which previously that would have been just one process, right? It would be one project and you would not have 8 to choose from. You would have the one that you believe in, and you would try to make it work.
And how does someone engage with Fifth Row? Is it a product? Do you offer service layer or support for people who are doing this for the first time? Tell me how it works.
Yeah, so it's a SaaS platform. You can go on the website, get a demo with us, and we're going to sign you up, get you a POC, and then work with you. We have a customer success team. It's a new technology, right? So, and there's a lot of myths about AI. So a lot of what we have to do is education during the POCs. We have customers specifically that cannot even use AI properly because of their internal governance. So we have services contracts that are effectively, there's a person from our side that helps you, uses the platform, but of course you have access to the platform as well. So it's a kind of a way to pigeonhole our platform into contract that's passable inside an organization. But we're striving to make this as automated as possible for the use of internal teams. One sidebar is, there's no reason for this suddenly to be a capability that only the innovation team has. Right? And we started getting questions from other teams. Well, can you do due diligence? Can you do regulation sensing? Can you use the same process of gathering a lot of information and then processing in a certain way, getting a concrete deliverable? And we said yes. So in January 2025, launched our app store that has exactly these applications, right? So then we act as this kind of a center, somebody called it center of excellence, right? Where you have all of these processes that you would have to hire consultants for, but now you can just go to Fifth Row as an internal person inside of Fortune 500 and get a really great market research report, or get a really good ideation, or do due diligence on a particular startup, or whatever else. And you can build it by yourself. But if it's difficult, you don't know how, well, we're there to help.
What do you say to people who say, these aren't real people, so how can I trust the answers that the machine is giving me?
You run the market test, and real people sign up.
Yeah. Yeah. And the proof is in the pudding then.
The proof is in the pudding. We've run over 20 of these in the past 12 months, and the 87% success rate is on top of that. I'm happy to share the data with anybody who wants to see it, because this question sometimes comes up. It has come up over the past 12 months, but as the results started showing, there's kind of no question. And that's why we're happy to do these POCs with customers. If we can work with you for a month or two, you're going to get those results. We're going to find a venture that you can go build, or we're going to find a use case inside the organization that we can automate that you would have to pay consultants for. The value, you'll see the value pretty much immediately.
Yeah. And how does someone typically engage with Fifth Row? Is it a SaaS solution, a subscription, a monthly retainer?
It's a SaaS solution.
Gotcha. Who do you think it's best suited for? I mean, you mentioned innovation teams. You talked about an automotive company. For people who are listening to this conversation and are new to you and to Fifth Row, who should reach out to you?
Anybody who hires consultants for multi-$100,000 and $1 million projects, right? We can guarantee that if we get the same RFP or same brief, we can turn that into an application that is on the platform that you can use. You don't have all that overhead. You're going to get a lot of time back, and you're gonna the time that you get back is strategic time, because you'll have more time to think about the results that you got, and you can influence them. And if you want to change something, you don't have to go to a consultant. You can kind of do it by yourself and wait for the platform to do all the analysis that you want. Right. So anybody who hires consultants should think of this.
Yeah. And you've created something that was not really possible until a few years ago. I don't want to disclose your roadmap, but what do you think things are going to look like a year from now when it comes to processes like this?
They're going to be a little bit more interactive, I think. What we can do right now is everything is on the rails. You give us a brief, and the platform, or you give the platform the brief, and the platform does, the agents there do what they were programmed to do, either by us or by you. And that's fine. I think a lot more of this is going to be much more granular. So everything on the platform has an API, and you're starting to have a lot more CTO level discussions, not a CIO, but CTO level discussions on, well, this is great capability. Can we plug it into different areas, right? Can we do this research, and can it pop up in our system right here, right? And not necessarily on FitPro. So I think it's going to be much more agent-based API services and much more interactive on our platform. And I think just the main thing is bigger acceptance and understanding that this is real. It has real results because people will have seen them.
Yeah. Proof is in the pudding. Jan, I really appreciate you taking the time to chat about Fifth Row today. It's exciting what you're building. And yeah, I wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.